Live. Happy Monday. And wow, do we have some really big news happening tomorrow? You'll see in the ticker below, there's a little leak of the information. And first, I want to start out by sharing something with you. Let me share the screen. It's called the law of diffusion. Let me share screen. And countdown timer ready. This is going to be one of those. Oh, there is the infinity. But here's what I want to share as Simon Sinek. And most people should know Simon. And let's get the volume up. And it's only going to be about a minute of what he's talking about, but it's very important.
Diffusion of innovation. And if you don't know the law, you definitely know the terminology. The first 2.5% of our population are our innovators. The next
2.5% are innovators. That's totally on the front of the curve. So if you're going to look at Bitcoin, those are the people 8 years ago, 6 years ago that were there. And that's the very, very edge, but it's such a small percent of the total population.
13.5% of our population are our early adopters. The next 34% are your early majority, your late majority.
Okay, so then 13% and 34%, that is 34, 44. That's almost, then you're at 50%. And that's the middle of the bell curve. 50%. So you still have 50% of the people nowhere to be found.
Majority and your laggards.
The laggards will never adopt. So don't worry about the laggards, but look at that next chunk of 34% on the back end of the bell curve.
The only reason these people buy touch-tone phones is because you can't buy rotary phones anymore. We all sit at various places at various times on the scale, but with the law of diffusion of innovation.
So what I'd like you to do right now in the comments below is share with us, the community, where do you sit? Are you in, let's call it, we'll give them numbers. 1 is the very front end. So type of 1 if that's you. 2 is the early adopters, 13.5%. Type of 2 if that's you. 3 is that section that goes right up into the bell curve. That is still innovators. 4, that you're conservative and you're not going to jump into something until that has been established. And then I don't think, because we're all on LinkedIn, that there is anyone that falls into the last category. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and share below. Let's get a conversation going. I think this is fun exercise for us to see. I'll share that I am well, it really depends. I mean, I'm a 1, but I'm old. So a 1 when you're in your 20s is different than a 1 when you're in your 50s, because Simon Sinek, you're cynical. So let me give you for instance, with cryptocurrency and blockchain. Blockchain's here to stay. Cryptocurrency, I'm not a 1. I'm not a 2. I'm probably not even a 3 because I've been in the financial markets for 20-something years, and I know that the U.S. will never let Bitcoin become the global currency. If it's going to, or another currency will, it'll be regulated, because the banking industry is too big. We have to regulate it for multiple reasons, because we're not going to let mass money move around the world to terrorists and other subterfuge organizations. Now we're into a whole nother world. It's terrorism by by computer, but viruses and taking over. So there's no way that they're going to let a vehicle just run rapidly where you can't trace money to wherever it goes. So I'm a 1 in a lot of cases, but as you get older, and maybe this is just me, maybe if it's not me, just tell me I'm wrong. But as I get older, my 1 has an asterisk on it because of my experiences that actually determine, okay, I'm an early adopter, but not always. So I'm probably a 2. So put down below where you stand there, and let's keep this thing going.
is that if you want mass market success or mass market acceptance of an idea, you cannot have it until you achieve this tipping point between 15 and 18% market penetration, and then the system tips. And I love asking businesses, what's your conversion on new business? And they love to tell you, oh, it's about 10% proudly. Well, you can trip over 10% of the customers. We all have about 10% who just get it. That's how we describe.
Exactly right. Now, I say when it comes to sales that 20% of the people will buy anything that you have. 20% of the people will buy nothing. Doesn't matter whatever you do. And that's 40%. The 60% is determined by how effective you are at providing solutions in a way that inspire them to take action. So if you suck at sales, that's 60%, you might get another 10. If you're great, you might get another 30 or 40. So interesting that he says that.
Describe them, right? That's like that gut feeling. Oh, they just get it. The problem is, how do you find the ones that just get it before you're doing business with them versus the ones who don't get it? So it's this here, this little gap that you have to close, as Jeffrey Moore calls it, crossing the chasm.
All right, so now let's get back to something else here. And give me a second. I'm going to stop this screen sharing. So it's very interesting because we're talking about sales. We're talking about LinkedIn. We're talking about how to get off the roller coaster of some months you make more money and some months you don't, that's the vast majority of people that are either business owners, corporate executives, entrepreneurs, salespeople. It is that roller coaster. So what's interesting is a diagram that I've pulled that I will be speaking about in great detail during my presentation. And let me just share that diagram because it's counterintuitive to what he just shared, but it's something that if you want to be successful, you need to push yourself more towards the beginning of early adopters. Because particularly in sales, if you're at the back end and as that bell curve is coming down and that's where you're an adopter, then you're going to have a very difficult time with sales, because innovation in sales, when it happens, creates windfalls, huge opportunities, much higher sales conversion. And then as it gets old and stale, conversions go down, and then finally it becomes a struggle. So let me just give you a few ideas of what I'm sharing. And then I'll show you the diagram, and then I'm going to sort of cut it off because I'm releasing the training tomorrow. It's a free training that's going to go in very, very deep into what we're talking about. And the point is that I want to help you rapidly increase your sales consistently over time so we get off the roller coaster ride. We eliminate the frustration, the pain, the anger, the fear of not being good enough, not getting the sales, and the impact it has. And, I'm no different than you, because even though I've been selling since 1987, there are periods of time where I was very successful and not. And most recently in my company, Client Engagement Academy, with our online education business, I started out like a cannon out of a cannonball out of a cannon. And then after a year or two, when I had to expand outside of my network, I failed miserably with Facebook ads and funnels because I didn't have the time to do that. So I hired a lot of people that I know, love, and trust, and they did a poor job. I spent almost $30,000, 10, 10, and 10, and I made back in total probably $6,000, and I literally shut down all of my digital marketing. And that's how bad it got, and it's had a major impact on not only me and the company growth. I have a handful of amazing clients and investors that I've known for 10 or 20 years. I had to call them up and say, hey, fast growth is out. Fast growth is out. And that's, I call it cowtail. I had, I put the cowtail between my legs to have that conversation. And of course, my family, an impact for my family as well. So the impact's great when we don't get this right. So now let's shift into, let me share this. And is this making sense? Let me just take a second. I don't know. in the comments, is this making sense? And okay, Laura, thank you for the 2. And here, give me a yes if this is making sense. Perfect. Okay, now let's get into, let me share my screen again. It's going to give us the wanky stuff. Okay, now this is a countdown. You get to see it here. So let me just take this down. And then this is the presentation. So you can see that this is a lot of information. It's going to be rockstar. I'm shooting the presentation today, and I think I'm at 109 slides. Well, that's a lot of slides. But this is really the key: clout selling. And what I want to address that coincides with what we were just talking about, and I've got to give credit here to, hold on a second. Let me open up my laptop because I want to give credit due to this diagram here. Come on, laptop. Bear with me a second. Oh, yes. Bear with me. One, two, three. Bear with me. Really, what he's going to. So I want to give credit to. I'll pull him up here. This guy here. I don't know if you can see it, but it's Rich Sheffrin. So if you don't know him, you should know him. 20-year veteran online. He's one of the great digital marketers. He's started trends in digital marketing that have been pretty incredible, actually. I know him. I've met him. He used to live in the city. I've met him at a lot of events, masterminds, and he's an incredible guy. So he's got a program now called Steal Our Winners. But in any case, he was talking about this. And I saw what he was talking about. He's talking about digital marketing. But then I began to see that I could actually look at what he was talking about. And sorry, it's funny. That's my phone. I could see what he's talking about and then read into it from a sales perspective, because that's what we're talking about here. So as I was talking earlier, trends in sales plummet over time. Results plummet over time. So that's the second call, plummet over time. So that is it's crucial. Now, I'm just speaking from my experience. In 1987, I started out cold calling. Cold calling is hot until it was not. Why was it not? Because they introduced the do not call list. So in the beginning, when I started, it was crazy. You get people on the phone and anyone on the phone. And then you could get them on mobile phones because the mobile industry was invented. And then people got pissed. So then it was not. But so then also during my early years, another thing that was direct mail was very successful. And so then people, when they stopped doing the cold calling, they started getting into direct mail. And then it was an overwhelming amount of direct mail. And then it wasn't. So you have this results plummeting over time. And then, of course, email marketing. In the beginning, it was great. Everyone was opening emails. Remember AOL, bing, you got email. And if you had a sales email, it would be like everyone wanted to open an email. Until now we have, I have 44 emails in my inbox that are unopened. So you can see that these trends happen over time and then they begin to slip. So when you see results plummet over time from a sales perspective, the other thing that happens is to get the same results, efforts increase over time. So you got to work harder just to get the same results. So when you correlate this back to the bell curve that we were just looking at, and you say, okay, where am I in this bell curve? Where am I? Am I an early adopter? Well, I don't know. But if you're on the second part of that wave and you're a late adopter when it comes to sales strategies, that's going to hurt you. Because this is what the diagram looks like. You got over time results going down and more effort going up, and just to do and keep the same. So what I'm going to be speaking about tomorrow is basically getting off this roller coaster ride. I got good news, because the reason why you might be struggling is not your fault. This guy, Edwards Deming, is just one of the pioneers over the last 100 years. 94% of the problems are due to systems and not people driven. So I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow, clout selling, and how to get really in the beginning, in the forefront of what's happening. And I wouldn't say that we're addressing the first part of the wave here, the 2.5%. I'll be addressing really the 13.5% plus a couple percent, 15, 18%, that chasm. We're at the chasm now, because I've been at this now for a year and a half myself. So it's the time now to get into this clout selling program, process, system, and methodology, so that you can have rapid success. So anyway, I hope this was valuable. If you liked it, say yeah, share this, because I feel like it's important, particularly when it comes to sales. I'm not saying you have to be an early adopter with other things, because that's outside of my area of expertise, but I want to push you from being a late adopter in sales process, systems, and methodologies to becoming more of an early adopter, because when you do, the world will open for you. So I hope you enjoyed this. Happy Monday. Thanks for staying with me. And I will be seeing you. Let me find now how to get out of this thing. I will be seeing you tomorrow. The release of the free training. If you want the free training and you want to be on the early list to get the training, then put a comment below, training, and we'll make sure that you get it and you're one of the early adopters, right? Early adopters to be able to see the training. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you soon. Thanks.